here to do another talk to the tape, our weekly session edition that we do. Decided to point out something that might be best to point out in video form as opposed to us writing about it, and also just to kind of mix things up a little bit. Now, obviously, unfortunately, the Steelers continue their tailspin on their four-game losing streak, falling to the Dallas Cowboys 35-30 this past Sunday, but from an objective standpoint, a fly on the wall, not being a fan of either team, not being heavily invested in this game, it was an awesome game. It was back and forth. There's so much to break down. We've talked about it throughout the week. We've already broken down a ton of plays so far, so I was kind of trying to rack my brain a little bit, trying to figure out what we really should talk about this week. And I know I've kind of talked about him a lot, but I just saw it happen more this week, and I figured it was kind of a good topic to break down. It goes back to Todd Haley, and I've been critical of him at times. If you go back and you look at the post-Miami Dolphins game, I was extremely critical of the game plan that he called. And then this past week against Baltimore, coming off that game, I defended him. I think he's a really good offensive coordinator. I'm not afraid to criticize him. I'm not afraid to criticize specific parts, even in good games, or good parts in bad games. But I try to be as open-minded with that as possible, and try to figure out what he's trying to do and take a good look at his offense. One thing I think he kind of had gotten away from, and I don't really know when it started, maybe the second half of last year, and then kind of the first couple weeks of this year. I think one area he kind of got away from was some of those RPOs and some of that kind of multiple option plays right off the snap that have been really successful with this team. Not entirely, they're still there. I mean, I'm not trying to paint with a too broad of a brush, but I thought he kind of got away from it a little bit, and I don't know exactly why. I don't know if it was a game plan thing or it just didn't happen. They went to different plays or whatever the case is. But I thought the last couple weeks he's kind of brought it back and given Ben a lot of options, post snap at the line of scrimmage. Ben still has so much control over this offense, as much control as anybody, but I just think there's been some more immediate options for him, whether they're RPOs or some other kind of different things. And that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to look at, I think it is 4 plays of just kind of that versatility that Haley's given Ben, and how successful they can be. So let's get into it here. I don't want to keep you guys waiting and me just jabbering the whole time here. They run this play twice. This is going to come early in the first quarter, and you get a couple elements. You get a screen at the bottom here with Kobe Hamilton, and then what you get at the top here, I don't know of a great term for it, but it's basically an angle route and kind of a screen. You're going to get David DeCastro. He's going to release into space like it's a screen, and then you're going to get Le'Veon Bell running an angle route. And think of an angle route as just an outside stemming outside, and then coming and cutting back inside. It's a really popular route in the red zone for a lot of teams. If you think of Detroit and Theo Riddick, this is a money play for them, this angle route to Theo Riddick. San Diego, when Danny Woodhead was healthy, this was a big money play on third down, red zone opportunities. It's kind of a staple for teams like that, and I think Todd Haley's used it a couple times in this game, or twice I should say, and both times were highly successful. So let's run this thing through so you can see what I'm talking about. Going to get the snap here. You got your screen possibility at the bottom. That's where Ben's looking first to Kobe Hamilton, and you got Bell ready on the angle. Now, Ben decides to go away from that. That might be by design, or it might be his own decision. I'm thinking that's by design, that you're going to fake the screen, because Kobe is theoretically open on this play. But you see, here's DeCastro going out in space. Bell starting outside. He's going to cut back in. He kind of ends up sitting down because there's no one to... It's not like there's a linebacker coming, facing him, or a flat defender or anything like that. So DeCastro does a great job in space with a key block. And I think it's a 12-yard gain for Le'Veon Bell. So we'll look at it here from the end zone angle as well. I just like the options, and the deception. If it truly is, there's no way that ball is going to Kobe. If it's going to Bell the whole way, then it's a great way to get the linebackers especially flowing away from where the ball is going to go, ultimately to Le'Veon Bell. Really like that. I think you see it here. You're going to get that look, and I think the Cowboys actually do a nice job of staying disciplined. Sean Lee's a tough guy to fool, but watching the quarterback the whole way, you're not really reacting. You're not focusing on where Bell's at, and so now you get your one-on-one space to Castro on Sean Lee. Castro with a great block, and Bell does the rest. So let's go back to the aerial view. just to really watch this angle route. And again, I think I have a better example of this coming up, but I like the wrinkle to this. It's just getting the ball to your playmaker Bell in space with a blocker in front, trying to get some deception. So if a linebacker's a step slow when you're facing Bell and you're trying to catch him, you're going to be in a tough spot. You got to play perfect technique. You got to be able to recognize things immediately, trying to get Bell in space. And I think this is a nice element to it. So this will be the last look here. Then we'll get to the same play in a crucial time later in the game. But it's a great play. One of your first 15. You're using it. You see it has success, so you know you can call, and lean on it later if you have to, if you need it in a big spot. And that's what ends up happening here. Steelers on their next to last drive, the near game-winning touchdown. Is going to get the same idea. Now Bell's going to be motioned out and from an empty set this time. So Bell's not in the backfield here, but you're going to get your screen look here at the top, and then you're going to get DeCastro coming out. And Bell running his angle route. This time he has more of a defender on him. So Bell, that's more of the angle where he's stopping and really changing his stem and then coming back inside. And then it's just Bell in space. And that's what you want 26 to be. So we'll look at it from the end zone angle. Again, you're going to get that fake screen to the top end. Doesn't even really look that way this time. DeCastro with a nice job out there on Sean Lee. It's kind of tough to see from the end zone angle. But again, just giving yourself the options on this play, creating that deception, having Bell come under DeCastro, so the linebacker now has to run through DeCastro, and that's not going to work. And that guy might be able to make a play, but it's Bell, and Bell makes everybody miss in the open field. So you'll take your chances, and Bell makes a really nice catch as well. And so you see, the linebacker's a little slow. He started to come up at the last second. Not really sure why. Maybe he thought Ben was going to get hit. And so by the time Bell catches the ball, he's out of position. DeCastro's on Sean Lee, kind of bumped him. Now you have a dangerous guy and Le'Veon Bell in space. This goes for a gain of 23. I think the very next play is to throw to Jesse James, which actually I'll show that really quickly. I wrote about it briefly in my game rewind that also went up today. But this was a nice deception play as well, and this is a thing that Haley does really well. He's used it a ton. He's not the only guy to do it, but I think Haley does it as well as anybody else in the league. But I don't know what Dallas is doing here, but they're going to fake the screen to AB because they run that screen so much. They'd run this throughout this Cowboys game. And because it's 84, everyone's trying to take him away. You got the corner, and I think that might be the nickelback, both coming up on AB, thinking this is screen the whole way. You're going to pump fake the screen. Going to have two vertical routes, one down the seam, one down the sideline. There goes Jesse James. There goes Eli Rogers. Both wide open. Ends up going to Jesse James in this play. If it goes to Eli Rogers, there's a good chance it's 6, but I'm fine with either option on this play. You get a big chunk play to Jesse James for another 20 plus, I think 24 yards on this play. We'll go back and look at it again here. Again, you're going to fake that bubble. Everybody's biting on it. Throw down the seam to Jesse James. It's a play they've used before. It's a great play. I don't know why, again, Dallas and theoretically shouldn't be biting as hard as they are in this situation. The Steelers need a touchdown. Let them have the little screen to AB, but you take it if the defense is going to fail. It just takes one guy to kind of break down. So that's a really good call. I didn't plan on talking about this one, but that's another element that Haley really does a nice job. That's using one call, running that screen 1, 2, 3 times earlier in the game, and they have to set up another one later in the game when you can fake the screen and then go deep and create your chunk play. That's created by planting that seed in the defense's mind of, okay, they're going to throw the screen. Oh, wait, they're not. Oh, no, we're out of position. Nothing we can do. Haley does a really nice job of that. 2 more plays to look at here to wrap things up. Just some simple stuff, some RPOs. Again, RPOs is a run-pass option where the quarterback has the ability to hand the football off or throw the football. He has both, in his arsenal. The line's going to block like it's a run every time. Receivers are going to expect a pass every time. And there's a couple elements. Usually it's a box count. Depending on if they're loading the box, you're probably going to throw the football. If the box is light, you're probably going to run the football, depending on how the corners are played up. It's all just kind of, placated on putting the defense in a lose-lose. They can't do anything right. Whatever the defense tries to do, you do the other thing. If they try to stop the run, you throw the football. If they try to stop the pass in the screen, you give the football off to your back. So that's the idea here. You get an RPO, real simple one. Again, you got a power play here. Instead of giving the football, Ben decides to throw the screen, the bubble screen to Antonio Brown. And Brown gets a nice, healthy 5-yard gain on first down. I know it's not a lot, but Give me 5 yards on first down every single time. I'll be happy. Again, what did Ben see here? I'm not entirely sure. I think the corner maybe potential blitz there. Trying to fake, is he going to blitz or is he not going to blitz? The box wasn't super heavy. It's only 6 in the box here, but nothing wrong with giving the ball to AB if he's going to be in space like he is here. Not a bad decision one bit. And we'll look at it from the end zone angle as well, just so you can see the run element, because this is a design run. Line's going to block no matter what. They're going to run block and get your typical gap run with the caster pulling. Your down blocks, the caster picking out first color. But there's the screen to AB. 5-yard game. When you have a guy like AB in space, you never know what it can be. It could be a touchdown on any given play. So you like that chance. Last one to look at comes actually just a couple plays later. It's another RPO, but there's another kind of wrinkle to it, and I really like it. It's 2 plays later after this AB play, actually. And this is what I'd call a dart RPO. It's a run-pass option, and the run is dart, which means the backside tackle is pulling and wrapping around. And we're going to see that better on the end zone angle. And instead of just getting the bubble, you have a couple of different elements here, and this is kind of another staple of Haley, one of his most popular RPOs, where you're going to get the run element, whatever it is. They do different stuff. They'll zone it, they'll gap run it, they'll dart it like they do here. But you're going to get number 3 running down the seam with like kind of a little pop pass, and number 2 on a swing route to the flat. Typically, the guy doesn't even turn. Rodgers kind of does here. You'll see that in a second. But then usually number 1 will usually block, and I think maybe that's what happens here. Then you have the option to throw it back to the backside if you so choose. If you think about last year, the Kansas City, was it the Kansas City Chiefs game? The Chiefs or the Cardinals game? I can't remember which one it was right now. There was a throw that Landry Jones had to AB along the left sideline, kind of back shoulder. That was this play, though the run scheme was a little different. It wasn't dart. So you usually does not go to number 1 backside, but if the matchup is right, if it's AB out there, and you like the matchup, you can throw backside at number 1 as well. But I digress. Usually the guy that Rodgers here is kind of turning. Usually they just kind of side shimmy, I guess you could say, out to the flat. But either way, flat to number 2. Number 3 is on a little seam route, little pop pass. That's where this ball ultimately goes. And Jesse makes a nice catch, and you get a big gain. So I'll let this thing run the whole way through. So multiple options here for Ben. He can throw the swing, he can throw the seam, he can give the football off. As a defense, you're trying to defend all that. You're in a lose-lose. You don't know it's coming. It's just you're not going to be able to stop it because it gives yourself so many options. So here's the dart scheme: tackle, pulling, wrapping around. They're going to kick out here because of the technique on the end. You're going to get some down blocks here. Pouncey working to the second level, but you can give it. They ran the start scheme a couple times without the RPO element as well. They pulled through on the waiver once or twice, so they've done that before. It's increased the last year or so with Haley running some of that dart. They did it once early this year, I think, and Marcus Gilbert said they hadn't run dart like that ever. But you get the idea is the way that the linemen are pulling the run fake. It's going to suck up the linebackers, and hopefully that opens up Jesse James. That's pretty much what happens here. Because remember, linebackers are taught to read their keys. They're always taught to read run first. You never give up against the run. So whenever you get that down block action, low hat, tackle pulling, they've been running dart before. You get the play fake. Sean Lee's going to come up 59. I think that's Hitchens. Does an okay job, but he's still reading the whole way. And by the time that he's able to react to that, there's no way he can make a play on that. If that's coverage, if he's reading the hi hat, he's able to get to his spot. He's looking for work. He's seeing what the route tree is. Instead, he's trying to discern, is this really run or is this a play-action pass? So he's a little slow to react. He doesn't get any width. James down the seam. He's got his head turned around immediately because he knows that if it's a pass, the ball's coming out quick to him. Because of the nature of the scheme, you're going to get the left defensive end coming in free. But also, again, that run action is going to hold 75. He sees the tackle pulling away from him. He sees the run action. He's coming down hard to play the run. So he takes himself out. You don't have to block that guy. So it's a really nice play the whole way around. Again, I'll run this thing full from the end zone angle one more time. But it just the name of the game, the thing to take away from this is just versatility and having options as a quarterback and as an offense. And it's when you have a guy like Ben to trust to make those decisions, you're in a really good place. So that's what I wanted to show you guys, just kind of that versatility. Really impressive from Todd Haley, the freedom he's given Ben, which is rightfully earned and rightfully so. So just an element that I hope that we continue to see from Todd Haley. He's gotten away from it at times, I feel, but when he brings it back, the offense is usually pretty successful, and it was. this past Sunday. So thank you guys for watching. Let me know your feedback in the comments. Remember, if you were seeing this today, as in Thursday, today, as in Thursday, we'll be doing our mailbag at 2:30 on Steelers Depot. Of course, if you're seeing this on Wednesday by chance, that'll be tomorrow, Thursday, 2:30 Eastern time. That'll run for an hour, 2:30 to 3:30. So be sure to hop on to Steelers Depot. Check out the site and ask your questions. And also a reminder, we have our Friday live chat, live stream. We'll go through this Cowboys game. We'll talk about any plays that you want to see or just any questions in general about the Steelers defense, its current state, its past state, or its future state. That happens Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern Time, and that runs for about a half hour to an hour, depending on how lively the chat is. You can look for that on my YouTube channel, on Facebook, or on Steelers Depot. We will post the article and the link to the stream. The article we call Bloggers in Basements Talking Steelers. That's what we do here. We sit in basements and we talk Steelers, and life is good. So be sure to look out for that Friday, 3 p.m. If you can make it, we'd love to have you. I love talking to you guys. It makes it the live stream a lot more fun and lively when there's 10 or so people in the chat asking questions, being engaged, and having a conversation rather than just one or two, and it's me just going through some plays and seeing if people show up or not. So just a reminder on both of those. But thank you guys for watching. Be sure to stick with Steelers Depot throughout the rest of the week and throughout the rest of the regular season as we're on to Cleveland and hopefully getting a win. So thank you guys for watching, and we'll talk to you soon.